Hello and welcome to my world, and yet another box full of videotapes video here on this pokey little YouTube channel of mine. This is the second to last box that we have. I have one more box to go through. But these have been fun, and I do have ideas for other content in regards to stuff that I have that we can do and just basically come up with content for this little YouTube channel of mine. Anyway, so there's already some good things in this one, in this box here. So we come over here, we drop it on the floor. You know the routine. We pick up from the right, drop it down to the left, and this particular video is being recorded February 15th, 2023. So let's get started here with first four things that are on top. We got Sean Connery in the first James Bond film adventure, Ian Fleming's Dr. No, on the CBS Fox distribution label video. So it's like, again, an old tape, because again, CBS Fox video. I think I really got to look up when that split ended up happening. But kind of funny, real basic. I do love the cover art on this one. And I don't think I've seen that artwork on any other release of Dr. No that I have seen. I may have multiple copies of this. I'll have to double check in terms of it on video. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Did see it in theaters when it came out in 1989. And ironically, considering the relationship between me and my own father, it's rather it can be at times rather strained, as much as it is now. But if there's a movie that goes to shows, like, appreciate your fathers or your parents in general, and with everything that's happened in my life as of late, it's a good movie to reinforce that. Tape Without a Box, Tim Allen and the Santa Claus. And last time it was watched, it was not rewound. Actually, I know for a fact my mom would have been the one watching these tapes up in her room, because we had a small TV that had a built-in VCR, or have one, and it was up in the master bedroom. So mom was watching these tapes, so she never got to rewind this tape. So I might at some point. Ed Harris, Bonnie Badella, in on a movie based on a book by Stephen King, Needful Things. Never read the book, never seen the movie. So Ed Harris is a good actor. Let's grab another four here. We might have more tapes without boxes here. Keanu Reeves, whoa, and Dolph Lundgren in Johnny Mnemonic. And I remember when I first watched this, it was in this house. It was upstairs, and it was like this. It was in the summertime. My brother was doing like a morning summer program, and then he would come from there to the house, and we would go watch movies. So first time I saw this was like 98, 99 ish, like summer 98, summer 99, in this house with my brother. So, fun memories there. A movie taped. Literally, this would have been a movie my mom taping stuff off the TV. This has a Terminator and cartoons. So, and if we did, that's kind of special in its own way there when you think about it. And another tape where it's like my mom just taping stuff off the TV. This was taped off of a TV in 1993. Jetsons, half a cartoon. Gypsy, half a movie, and National Lampoon's Christmas. So, another reminder of Mom. I'm guessing this is more likely a bootleg. Kiefer Sutherland, Jennifer Connelly, William Hurt, and something called Dark City. And consider, this might be the legit copy. Actually, hard to tell. Doesn't have all the markings on it, but a lot of it makes it seem legit. No, it's not, because the back doesn't have like the descriptions and things of that note. Again, it might be. You know, who knows at this point? I can already see we got two. Oh, a couple of duplicates in here too. Sean Connery, Wesley Snipes in Rising Sun. You know, there's always that funny bit I think of when it comes to this movie, and it's thanks to Craig Ferguson, and that is you have Sean Connery with his thick Scottish accent speaking Japanese, and I can't help but think like in any other normal circumstances you would have like whoever was acting opposite of him, and then okay, just go, excuse me, what are you saying? I can barely understand you when you speak English, but now you're trying to speak my native language. Like, but the movie was actually pretty good, but it's been a long time since I sat down and watched it. Another Sean Connery film, The Hunt for Red October, with Alec Baldwin. And it's one of the one of the Tom Clancy films. And again, and something kind of unique about this is that the tape is actually red too. And I can't help but think of like the Super Nintendo, where sometimes it was a Maximum Carnage. It was like what was it, Doom, both being on a red cartridge. So it's kind of like a fun, unique gimmick to make it stand out. But you know, I think back to one of the tier list videos I did regarding 90s action films, and this was on that list. I consider it more of a thriller, not an action film. Sure, it has a couple of action elements, but it's more of a drama. We got back-to-back. You know, we have back-to-back Sean Connerys. We have back-to-back Harrison Fords. And I kind of put these in the same category as, like, I don't really consider these to be action movies. Clear and Present Danger and Patriot Games. So, two excellent films, but again, I don't consider them to be action movies. At least that's my personal viewpoint on them. I think all three of these were part of a set, because on Clear and Present Danger, it actually is advertising the other two films. With the same artwork. So it was actually kind of cool there. I know for a fact this wasn't bootleg, and it does raise my question on Dark City because of the back of the box on this one. But I know for a fact this wasn't bootleg. This was the legit copy. Batman '89. This is the best damn Batman movie of all time, and again, considering Michael Keaton is going to be in the upcoming Flash movie, and will obviously outside of Supergirl, Michael Keaton's Batman will be the best part about the Flash movie, which is just a retelling of Flashpoint, which we saw already done and adapted into film form and live action, somewhat sort of, with the Flash television series that was airing on the CW. So you're going to try and condense everything they did with Flashpoint in that into what's potentially going to be like a 5-hour movie once the director's cut is released. Eddie Murphy, Nick Nolte in another 48 hours. So it's a good movie. It's like Eddie Murphy at the height of his comedic powers, because I often feel like Eddie Murphy kind of peaked in terms of comedy, like at the end, like towards like the end of the 80s, start of the 90s, and then it's been almost a steady decline. Because really, outside of Shrek, I don't think I've seen anything with Eddie Murphy over the course of the past 30 years. I would say 25 years, just to be a bit more generous there, that I could say I actually enjoyed his performance in. Maybe Mulan when he's the voice of Mushu, but that's probably pushing it. And again, Eddie Murphy really at the peak of his comedic powers, and in Beverly Hills Cop, excellent movie, probably the best movie Eddie Murphy has ever starred in. Kind of hopes that it was actually tailored to him. And Daniel Day-Lewis in The Last of the Mohicans. I don't know why, but I always thought this was like it was Mel Gibson in this. I don't know why. Again, I could be, and I'm very wrong. Was like I'm not sure why. I always thought it was like Mel Gibson, and maybe because it was like Braveheart, and you look at the cover on this and think, okay, that's at a casual glance, just about even though it says Daniel Day-Lewis at the very top of it, I always think it's Mel Gibson. It either says a lot about Mel and his screen presence and stuff with how iconic he was, his look in Braveheart was, or it says a lot about how little I think of Daniel Day-Lewis as an actor that I go out of my way to watch. But anyway, Last of the Mohicans, overall great movie. Underrated in so many ways, John Carpenter's Escape from LA. Sure, it is a remake of sorts of Escape from New York, but it's a fun movie. It's like if you didn't really need to see the first one to catch on to the type of character Snake Plissken is, because they even refer to things in stuff that happened in Cleveland, which like what was Cleveland? Was there Escape from Cleveland? No, it's just like okay, just filling in the time gap. Was not a fan of all of their outfit on it though. I think that they should have had more of like the older look. Die Hard 2, Die Harder. Another Christmas, another elevator chef. How can the same shit happen to the same guy twice? Is weird thing is like it's also kind of, since it's essentially taking the first film and just bringing all the characters over that were still alive into the second film and setting it in an airport. And it's not as good of the core Die Hard trilogy. This is my least favorite film. It's a great movie, don't mind you, but of the Die Hard trilogy, it is not my favorite. Of course, speaking of which, we have Die Hard with a Vengeance. And of course, the origin of one of my favorite lines whenever I hear the name Zeus. Father Apollo, Mount Olympus, don't fuck with me or else I shove a lightning bolt up your ass. Zeus. It's a romp. It's like it gets away from having the character John McClane tied to just one location. It's put it on a city level. You have a lot of great shots, the chaos and everything, and how quickly it moves. The only problem with Die Hard with a Vengeance is how rushed the ending is. Um, but that and is what is there. Speaking of Mel Gibson and long hair, Braveheart. A movie so big they had to put it on 2 cassettes. So this kind of raises questions for me regarding like 177 minutes on both. It's like, how fucking long is this movie? It has been modified to fit your television. Yeah, it's not 16:9. It was panned and scanned. But yeah, movie so big they had to put it on 2 cassettes and charge double the price. Thank goodness for DVDs, and this shit practice ended up going out of phase. We got 2 more. Actually, we got a bunch of Mel Gibson's movies here. We have Mad Max, simply iconic. It's literally the film that started it all. And it's been a long time since I've seen this. But one thing about Mad Max I can always appreciate, especially end of 2021, start of 2022 is when I was playing Fist of the North Star, Lost Paradise, and it's like, okay, a lot of the Mad Max jokes. That. And I kind of thought this movie was underrated. The Patriot. Again, before Mel Gibson went totally fucking nuts with like The Passion and a lot of other things that he said and done, he made some real good movies. And some stuff I feel that was underrated. But actually, you know what's funny? I only saw this because I ended up seeing like The Postman, starring Kevin Costner. So that's how I ended up watching this. I think this came out first. But I know I watched this after I saw The Postman. So, and we got Lethal Weapon with, of course, Danny Glover, who was already too old for this shit then. And I like what Jeffrey Lyons says. One of the best, most exciting police action thrillers since The French Connection. And considering how long ago that was, prior to the release of Lethal Weapon, that's saying a lot in many ways. Of course, we have Lethal Weapon 2, which introduces Joe Pesci's Leo Getz. Whatever you need, Leo gets. And always remember, they fuck you at the drive-thru, okay? They fuck you at the drive-thru. Do like the fact that I actually have some commentary from Richard Donner actually on the back of the box here, saying that they actually blew up a house, not it's like they didn't use miniatures. First, we have Lethal Weapons 3, which introduces Rene Russo to the ensemble, which was actually a great addition. Really is really giving Riggs a nice counterpart to play off of, considering his entire story arc regarding the loss of his wife and everything. So it's like how he was such in a dark place in the first film. The second place, he starts, finding companionship again, and then finds the person who killed his wife. And in the third film, he, finds someone he wants to, that eventually will spend gets married and spends a lot of time with. And that leads to the fact that I said I had duplicates here, because one was at one house, one was at my dad's place, and one was at my mom's place. And Lethal Weapons. And kind of funny here is like the difference between the two of these is the back of the box. It kind of makes me wonder. This one's a bootleg copy. This is the legit copy. So I was like, okay. So we have two versions of the same film, just on different qualities and so forth. Lethal Weapon 4 was, you know, it was okay for what it was. To try and be a closing, to try and close out the story, it did its job. I think Chris Rock was kind of wrong for the role of potentially being, what was it? Chris Rock's character's name? It was like Lee Butters. And it was supposed to be like the son-in-law or potential son-in-law for Danny Glover's Murtaugh. And I don't know, it kind of fell through for a fact because it was like something about Chris Rock's acting that always puts me off is like he's more, particularly in films that was in like late 90s, early 2000s, like he never could get away from doing like what would be his on stage presence. And a great example of that is like you look at Chris Rock's performance in Lethal Weapon 4 and then realize it's just an expanded version of the little role he had in I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, where he goes in to get that one rib and it's like, oh yeah, so it doesn't really. And so he's in Lethal Weapon 4 in an expanded supporting role, and it just grates on me a bit. It's like, and I kind of feel that they tried to play more to him being a comedian, and it's kind of like the worst part of the film. That and kind of also feel like Jet Li was kind of like underused. Like they feel like they just put him in this movie just to have like another big name of sorts, because Jet Li was catching fire in terms of his films at the same time. So I don't know. It's just it didn't jive as well. It's good. It's good, but it's like does its job to close out the story. And there's rumors and everything that they're trying to make a Lethal Weapon 5. Just how exactly are you going to do that? At this point, it's going to be totally questionable considering Danny Glover's age, or probably him being the chief of police. Murtaugh being the chief of police, Riggs Murtaugh being the captain or something, and him being too old for this shit now. Will they drag Chris Rock back in? Him being the Murtaugh? So it's like there's so many different things there. Anyway, that'll do it for this particular video of going over videos that I'm finding in boxes. I have one more box to go through, and then we'll move on to other media, probably DVDs or LPs and 45s. We shall see what we end up doing down the line, or anyway. So, hope all of you have a great day. Tighten your friendship races. Stay safe. Leave your comments in the comment section below. I would love to see what y'all thought, and if you have any thoughts on the movies that we went through here. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye.